The Trump administration is not letting up on its push for a citizenship question on next year's census. Attorney General William Barr today telling the Associated Press, surprise, surprise, he agrees with President Trump that the Supreme Court got it wrong when it blocked the census question on the 2020 survey, the citizenship question on the 2020 survey. Barr still sees a legal path to adding the citizenship question, and without sharing specifics, said he plans on taking action in the coming days. The Attorney General's comments come after the Department of Justice announced it was replacing the entire legal team handling the efforts to add the controversial question. And that was after the Department of Justice admitted defeat in the Supreme Court and gave up the ghost. Now, the Commerce Department argued the question would guarantee that minority citizens would not have their votes marginalized. But last month, the Supreme Court ruled that that reasoning, quote, appeared to have been contrived, to say the least, and critics say could cause the population of Democratic strongholds to be undercounted if people are afraid to fill out the survey. Reason.com editor-at-large and my longtime friend Nick Gillespie says there's a lesson to be learned here. He joins me now. What's the lesson to be learned?
There's two lessons, and the first is that Wilbur Ross, as Commerce Secretary, is one of the most incompetent liars ever to disgrace D.C. That's not such a bad thing, but his contradictory testimony helped put the lie to the idea that the Trump administration was trying to include this question to help minority voting rights or anything like that. This is just an attempt to kind of scare off and kind of massage the outcomes.
Chief Justice Roberts saw right through it.
Yeah, I think so.
What's the other reason why this is a lesson to be learned?
Well, for me,
said there were two.
Yeah, the other one is a kind of interesting irony that, if you'll recall, as Steve Bannon, Donald Trump's old advisor, said that one of the things Trump was going to do was deconstruct the administrative state. What we're seeing here, because of the incompetence of both the Department of Justice and the Department of Commerce, is the administrative state is being hemmed in by the judiciary branch, which I think ultimately is a good outcome in this case, and overall it's kind of an interesting irony.
So one of the reasons, and I know you know this, I want to make sure that those watching us do, to support your argument of the incompetence of the Secretary of Commerce is he said we did this in order to help enforce the Voting Rights Act.
Right.
Well, the Voting Rights Act is not enforced by the Department of Commerce. It's enforced by the Department of Justice. And when the Department of Justice was asked, did you ask for the census question because you need help enforcing the Voting Rights Act? They said, we don't know what we're talking about. And the Voting Rights Act only applies in 1/4 of the states, not in the other 3/4, to which the Supreme Court Chief Justice and the majority said, we don't believe you.
Yeah, and, in internal documents and communications with Ross, it was clear that he came into office wanting to ask this question. He claimed that the Department of Justice asked him about this. And, in fact, to the extent that there's evidence, it's that Ross went to the Department of Justice and said, hey, what do I need to do in order to ask?
What is the real reason behind this question? Is it racial? Is it to reapportion the cities so as to get more Republican members of Congress, as the president seemed to indicate over the weekend? Which is contrary to what the DOJ told 2 federal judges.
Right. And it's also fascinating in a lot of different ways because the number of illegal immigrants in the country is down from 2007. It's as of 2017, the most recent full data. It's down well below that.
Right.
In major cities, most illegals live in about 20 different metro areas. Almost all of those have fewer immigrants, illegals, whatnot. I think part of it is that Trump does want to kind of throw a little bit of fear into people into responding to the census, which, as you pointed out in many cases or in many instances, is only there to figure out how many people live there. They don't have to be citizens. They don't have to be legal. They just have to be residents. And that's how you figure out how many Congress people are.
So when they come to you and say, how many toilets do you have and what's your education and how many people live in the basement, you tell them to take a hike.
I did that 2 censuses ago when I was a homeowner in Ohio. And
you were not arrested.
I only realized after the fact that I was actually, they don't really arrest and fine people for that, but I was breaking the law.